When it comes to the Switch or handhelds in general, there's not a lot to pick from when it comes to shooting games that involve zombies. You do have the Resident Evil games, but if you want more arcadey or more Nazi zombies type of stuff, you don't have a whole lot to choose from. One game you do have to choose from is a very small $10 game made by an indie developer, with a character that reminds me a lot of Lara Croft. Here is my review of Blood Waves for the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to gameplay, Blood Waves is a wave-based third-person shooting game with defense elements thrown into the mix with you fighting zombies. So whenever you play the game, you're going to be running around a circular arena and fighting off zombies with a lot of traps and weapons that you can buy from the game shop. The way progression works in this game is absurdly simple. You don't have multiple game modes to choose from, you don't have any multiplayer, so when you boot it up and hit play game, it takes you right into the game right on the wave that you left off last time. Also, being a wave-based game, you can probably guess most of how this game progresses without actually playing it. You're in a circular arena and fight off zombies until that wave is finished, and then between waves you're allowed to go to the game shop to buy weapons, skills, and traps that you can use as a setup for the next wave. And that's pretty much it. You fight zombies, then you buy new weapons, ammunition, restore health, and other skills to set up for the next wave, and you just repeat the process over and over until you either lose or you quit. Like I said earlier, it's a very simple game, but simplicity brings with it pros as well as many cons, especially when it comes to Blood Waves. One of the first problems of the game that I encountered was aiming inaccuracies. About half the time when I was aiming at an enemy, I would actually hit an enemy in a completely different location from where my aim was. The biggest problem here is that it's random. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so it's not like you can just adjust to the game and still hit an enemy where you want. The other problem is the severe lack of content. There's no story mode, there's no multiplayer mode, there's no real goal or boss. You just do wave after wave after wave until you're bored and want to close the game out. Granted, the shooting is a lot of fun, and the difficulty is balanced really well between the waves with how much money you get and how much stuff costs. But that doesn't change the fact that there isn't that much content here, both in terms of game modes and in terms of enemies. You fight the same enemies in Wave 10 that you fought in Wave 1, making the game feel really repetitive because nothing's really changing about you, the environment, or the enemies, just what you use to fight them. And even with all of the different weapons that you can unlock to use, you can probably play the game for an hour and a half to 2 hours and have the entire armory already in your arsenal. Now let's get into presentation, which is decent but not great. I won't say the game looks awful, but there's a lot of polishing that could have been done on pretty much everything. Even the main character, which has the most detail out of anything, has a lot of flaws in her design, especially when you start looking at the strands of her hair and her outfit. All in all, the graphical presentation just doesn't look very polished. Thankfully, performance makes up for that because the frame rate is nice and smooth from start to finish. No frame drops, no freezing, no crashing. I thought for all intents and purposes, performance and battery life were going to be this game's saving grace. But let's get into battery life and you'll see why that's not the case. Blood Waves, which I expected to have a lot of battery life, has a battery range of 1 hour and 55 minutes on high settings up to 2 hours and 38 minutes on low settings. Now in conclusion, if you're tired of Resident Evil and want an arcadey wave-based zombie shooter, this does a fairly decent job at it. On the bright side, the shooting is a lot of fun and the difficulty is balanced very well. But that's easily outweighed with the numerous problems the game has in terms of content, length, aim recognition, and more. If you really need a wave-based zombie shooter, you can grab this on a sale, but don't expect much from it. Reviews to Go rates Blood Waves for the Nintendo Switch a 4.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.